Ceci est un livre audio autogénéré par Google. Première partie. Genre, ethnie, culture et identité dans la communication touristique. 1. The Exploitation of Love, Romance and Sexuality, The Malgas in Tourism Promotion. Maria Amparo Aleón Carbonell. Maria Amparo Aleón Carbonell est maître de conférences au département d'études anglaises de l'Université d'Alicante, Espagne. Elle s'intéresse principalement aux études genre, à l'analyse critique des discours, au langage du tourisme et à l'ESP, English for Special Purposes. Elle travaille actuellement à sa thèse de doctorat, qui porte sur l'analyse du discours touristique. Alaison@ua.es. Cet article a pour objet les modalités d'exploitation, à des fins commerciales, des thèmes liés à l'amour, au sexe et aux idylles amoureuses dans la publicité touristique. Le texte porte attention à la manière dont sont présentées les figures féminines et masculines au plan visuel comme au plan langagier. On observe ainsi la construction d'une relation particulière entre le consommateur de publicité, c'est-à-dire le touriste potentiel, et la destination touristique. Le premier se révèle être de sexe masculin, alors que la seconde acquiert une identité féminine résultant d'un procès de personnification. Introduction. This paper follows a multidisciplinary approach that stems from studies carried out in diverse areas such as critical discourse analysis, genre studies, ESP, English for specific purposes, and sociology. Its main focus is the analysis of the use of image of love, romance and sexuality in the written promotion of tourist destinations. Love, Romance and Sex, Adan, 1996/103, stat, are some of the most acneyed topics in tourism promotion. Indeed, tourism is generally identified with 4 words, the so-called 4S, sea, sand, sun and sex. Therefore, it is not surprising that most promotion discourse should appear full of sexual imagery or of milder expression of love and romance. Under this metaphorical representation, the act of travel and the destination are traditionally portrayed as the objects of love, adoration and desire of the prospective tourist. Thus, the addresses of this promotion usually face an imagery of love and romance that represents the idea of the dominated, journey, destination, and the dominating self. This is the archetypical and patronizing vision of the role of ancient male travelers as the conquerors and discoverers of virgin lands. This discourse of conquest and discovery bears unmistakably a resemblance with the discourse of love and romance, where too, traditionally the male is the dominating character while the woman, as the object of love, is dominated. When modern tourism promotion evoke or reconstruct the ideal experience of travelers, customers or potential tourists are usually presented in a discourse that treats them as male, conquering the fabled lands. Thus, potential customers, regardless of their sexual orientation, are in a way made to perceive their desired destination through this traditional vision of the male conqueror. The main argument of this paper is that in most of the promotional work studied, the targeted client is still nowadays made to acquire a male gaze when looking at a potential destination, and only a small part of the promotional material displayed on the internet show other perspective or gaze such as a neutral, the female, the gay or lesbian gaze. Although all gaze and perspective are worth of study, this paper explores only 3 of 10 possible gaze portrayed in promotional material published on the internet, the male, female and neutral gaze. As the internet is a relatively new channel of promotion, it is supposed to provide the most up-to-date source of material for study. Thus, the critical insight on the treatment of gender in tourism discourse could be regarded as corresponding to models of current social construction of male and female identities. The traditional duality man-woman is not merely restricted to the anatomical physical sphere but is firmly embedded in all human activities, usually entailing a social meaning. The Occidental modern world has been traditionally organized taking this duality as a norm in all human relations and activities. Human activities usually have a well-defined male and female role and tourism is no exception to this. Since its birth, tourism has been traditionally seen as a male activity. One of the most common examples is le Grand Tour 15, which was usually defined as a masculine activity, Our noblemen and gentlemen are generally sent to university and after staying some time there, they are sent abroad to make a tour of Europe, Anon. 1773. À early as the 18 à 19th century, travelers who are only referred to a male, ye commercial gentlemen, maiden known 19th C, or men of business, Anon. 1880. When ladies were referred to, they were reminded of their exclusion from the tourist social sphere. Ladies can dine at restaurant without attracting the observation which is so noticeable in London restaurant, Anon. 1880. In former times, the language used in promotion was obviously addressed to male customers, so that the love and romance image and metaphor employed reinforced the idea of the male lover and the conqueror of a metaphorical female destination. Nowadays, the situation has changed and women are not merely the attractors of male observation but also travel a much a male do. Consequently, women should also be the new addresses of written tourism promotion says. The question this paper tries to answer is whether the senders of the promotional text have adapted their language to the new addresses. This subject has been extensively discussed in other contexts by scholars such as Aubar and Atkins, 1980/109, Swan, 1988/24, Mills, 1988/67, Lozano, 1996/82-126, Coates, 1997/232, who considers that the male-female differentiation in language does not necessarily correspond to a change in the biological sex of the addresser or addressee of the discourse, but to a change in linguistic or social context. In the case of tourism promotional discourse, the change in the traveler's sex or sexual orientation does not seem to correspond to a change in the linguistic or discourse sphere. Most of the promotion material studied presents a male gaze that is supposed to cater for both male and female audience needs. The language of promotion, which is the object of this study, provides a good model of discourse, since, as has been claimed, it moves and reflects our daily life and is an unavoidable part of our modern existence. Advertising and written promotion also provide a rich example of cultural discourse. An advertisement is a complex whole which includes knowledge, beliefs, art moral, law, customs and other capabilities and habits acquired by individuals or members of our society. Vasquez and Aldea 1991/13. Hence, advertising discourse can provide both sociological and linguistic data for a contextualized analysis of gender registers. At the same time, we should not forget that advertising has a specific goal, i.e., to sell a product. The addresser of the advertising message has to persuade the addressee to buy a specific product. The emphasis in the communication process is on the receiver and not the speaker or writer. That is why several studies define advertising a communication without a sender EG. In the language of tourism, we often do not know who the speaker is beyond the vague idea that it is somebody who is a representative of the tourism industry. Dan 1996/62. The main focus of the analysis of this type of discourse must, therefore, be placed on the way the addressee approached and persuaded and the language and visual tactics used for that purpose. As it is understood in this paper, can be defined as including the linguistic and paralinguistic features or tactics employed in a discourse in order to address an ideal receiver. This approach differs from previous studies in that it does not try to analyze the language produced by men or women, but the way a message is presented to these two gender groups. In short, senders of promotional material produce a message for an ideal prospective customer, male or female, and their final text provide a point of view or gaze that is supposed to appeal to the target segment. The possible difference in the presentation of a destination as regard the imagery of love and romance are thus the focus of our analysis, that aims at finding to what extent there is still a predominance of the male gaze over the female gaze in the tourist promotion of destination. Similarly to other contexts, the traditional male gaze is likely to occupy the position of the norm. Lozano 1996/82, Kisling 1997/65, Coates 1997/65, whereas the female gaze would represent deviation. Abodin 1975/135, note, Traditionally men's speech was and automatically equated with the language. 1. Methodology. 1.1 Corpus. From the wide range of possible sample of promotional material in the field of tourism, we selected two types of text, internet brochure and travel article. The brochure selected were pieces of writing designed to circulate within and mainly outside the destination area for promotional purposes. These are also called lure brochure and their conception is based on the receiver. The concept, according to the client, was to foster an image of low to sea and do, with emphasis on heritage and culture. Gates and Saylor 1993/114. Travel articles are written by correspondents of different publications, in this particular case electronic publication. These articles are usually written in the first person singular and tell the actual experience of the writer in a particular destination with the purpose of sharing information. Burgett 1992/179-193. These two types of writings were selected because they both show a capital interest on the receiver of the message, and thus were the most appropriate in order to examine the male or female gaze. Following Cooks 1992/3-12. Typology of variable in advertising discourse, the travel article and brochure used in the study also share features of medium, product, technique, participants, etc. The study covers a random sample of 140 texts, a total of 150,000 words that were collected from the internet. There has been an increasing concern among scholars about the legitimacy or authenticity of internet source. In our case, special care has been taken in gathering samples from well-established websites, such as local tourism board sites, while samples were excluded in cases where this legitimacy was not clear. The data gathered was analyzed and classified by means of two computer programs, Gnosis marque déposée and Monoconc marque déposée, which indicated the frequency of specific lexical items related to the semantic fields of love, sex and romance and male and female. 1.2 Lexical information. The analysis of the corpus by means of the software used has provided the opportunity of studying the most recurrent lexical item of the sample. The lexis was analyzed by means of two variables. Lexical item referring to love, sex and romance themes. Recurrent topic and lexical item referring to male, female semantic fields. The purpose of the first variable was the classification of the main topic of the metaphor and image used in the text, whereas the second was used as a way of isolating specific reference to gender. 1.3 Visual information. Our analysis was not restricted to the study of linguistic elements, but also covered paralinguistic and nonverbal features, Alcaraz 2000/88. The study of nonverbal features is equally important as the analysis of verbal cues, as they enhance, modify or even contradict the linguistic content of any discourse set. Therefore, they should be taken into account in the study of language and discourse, Confer. Swan 1988/139. Visual cues appearing in the text have been classified in three categories that represent the three gaze, i.e. the male gaze, for those that have been created for the male sector of the audience, the neutral gaze, for those that do not seem biased by gender, and the female gaze, for those that have been created for the female sector of the audience. 1.4 Textual information. A first analysis of the text was carried out in order to classify the imagery employed with reference to the most common subjects of the promotional tourist texts, male, female and destination. A subsequent analysis identified the linguistic and paralinguistic features used in the treatment of these subjects, so as to determine if they were presented in a male, female or neutral gaze. As can be seen in the following table, the expected distribution of male subject, male gaze, female subject, female gaze and destination, neutral gaze is not followed in all cases. 2. Results. 2.1 Lexical information. Do study lexical and topical information. The content words of the corpus were analyzed in terms of frequency order. 2.1 Love-loaded lexical item. Figure 1 shows that the most recurrent themes are lexical items referring to romance, romantic and weddings, wedding, honeymoon, marriage, married, honeymoons, whereas other items related to pleasure, hedonism, excitement and love, love art lovers, lovely, love tripper, passion, are not so frequent. Moreover, if we compare the adjective romantic with the rest of the content words in the corpus, we see that romance is a basic theme in the promotion of tourism preferred over topics such as sex, not present at all, pleasure or marriage. Figure 1, Semantic field of love. This evidence indicates that romance is exploited as the most usual lexical choice in tourism promotional discourse, followed by reference to love, whereas the semantic field of sex is overtly omitted and only a few items related to the field of pleasure are found. Thus tourist promotion mainly emploie traditional reference to love and sexual relations, as the main references are made to the typical hegemonic heterosexual married couples that look for romance and pleasure when traveling. 2.1.2 Genre referenced lexical item. Figure 2 shows the frequency of content words referring to sexual genre. As we can see, words on women, she, adventure women, female, are outstandingly more frequent than men, a men. This implies that women are more exploited as discourse topics than men in these materials. The situation is inverted when the genre reference is the subject of the sentence. In this case, male reference are more frequently employed than female, she. Thus reference to men usually occupy the active role of subjects, whereas women are usually found as objects of the action rather than subjects. Once more, this situation recalls traditional representation of male and female genre, in which female take up a passive or dominated role, whereas male are the active or dominating subjects of action. At the same time, the use of collective pronouns and nouns or plural forms such as them, couple, group, travelers, gay tourists, lovers or honeymooners can be regarded as a means of address to both sexes regardless the male or female gaze present in the text. This analysis of lexical content must be complemented with a study of the context in which it is found. Figure 2 Référence to genre. 2.2 Textual information. The analysis of the discourse in which the topic of love, romance and sex are found can help us to categorize the representation of gender. Male image, female image and resort or destination image can now be related to gender reference in order to find out whether their gender representation correspond to the construction of a male, female or neutral gaze. In our analysis, we found that these are not equally distributed in the corpus. Image and reference to resort and destination. Lexical items such as beach, hotel, island, city and break. The reference, whereas the percentage of female reference amount to just 16,53% and those of male reference only 8,47%. 2.2. Référence to male. Love reference to men in tourism brochure and article are mainly made through the metaphor of the active lover or conqueror. This type of imagery recalls the traditional role of men. 1. Standing in a circle, singing a chanson, and swaying to the music, the men seek to impress the onlooking young women. http://www.dreamweavertravel.net/nigerarticle.htm 2. Siverdance sea cliffs, waterfalls and beaches virtually untouched by man. http://www.doctorg.com/romantic-travel.htm 3. Passo a man summon olis macho verve, a deep intake of breath, stamp isil and strike a matador's pose, and then lunge at a hapless woman on her afternoon's browsing, carrying her off down the street in time to the music played by one of the store. http://www.travelintelligence.net/article/article-artiret-676.html 4. It is here that the deep love of one man for one woman created the Taj Mahal, where the King of Kings ruled, where the sacred Gang flows past holy cities, where the Himalayas stand silent and magnificent, where 5,000 years of culture waits to be absorbed. http://india-tourisme.de/english/north/. 5. Takein guys. Women love spa. Nothing puts them in a better mood than a few days of massage, facials, and herbal wrap. http://www.travellady.com/issue56/spa.htm. Also this is the typical image of men. There is one example in which this image change from the dominating to the dominated position. 6 and call us superficial, but we also liked being greeted by the W's employees and some hard-bodied men dressed in form-fitting black clothing. http://www.hotelsresorts/hotel.htm. This example was found in a travel review of a magazine devoted to women travel. Publications that take the point of view of the female sometimes reverse the hegemonic position of the active male and take up an active female lover. This can be regarded as a timid intent of the construction of a female gaze, in which traditional roles are challenged. Nevertheless, as we can see from this isolated occurrence in the corpus, this is a rather exceptional case in female reviews. 2.2. Référence to female. Love and romance reference to female in tourist brochure are more frequent than in the previous case. This again can be a consequence of the traditional role of men and women in the hegemonic heterosexual couple. A. Females are objects of love. Set in the pool. A beautiful bronzed woman floats on her back, her head and shoulders supported by one man while her legs are held afloat by another man. http://www.doctorg.com/romantic-travel.htm. 8. A perfect place to go for romance and rejuvenation and for the seriously inclined to pop the question. How could she possibly decline when you've made such a serious effort to pamper her in paradise? http://www.travellady.com/issue56/spa.htm. B. Females are passive or unnamed heroine of love stories. 9. The glorious mogul courtier and palace conjure up dreams of the mysterious wonders of the past, a golden age of tragedy and love, the harem of beautiful wives enclosed in the women's quarters, of powerful emperors, of magical prophecy and potent charm. http://india-tourisme.de/english/norse/. 10. Here is much soliloquizing on infidelity by Juno and Jupiter, but Enips back and promise Callisto that when she dies she will be immortalized in the night sky as a Bear constellation. http://www.travelleintelligence.net/article/r-717.html. 11. The Beggars Benison Club took its name from a mythical parody of a beggar woman, said to have carried King James V over Anstruther's Drelburn, who later blessed the purse and sexual prowess of the king after he had repaired her kindness by both means. http://www.travel-scotland.co.uk/news/news-2012001.htm. 12. Langkawi is shrouded in history legends of love and death. Its white beaches are believed locally to have come from the white blood of a beautiful princess named Masuri. She was sentenced to death after being accused of adultery. http://gochina.about.com/library/weekly/11199.html. 13. You pose before Antonio Canova's sculpture of Eros and Psyche. Eros, the messenger of love we know as Cupid, holds Psyche tenderly and revives her after she's been lulled by a sleeping potion. http://www.tirdage.com/travel/is/place3.html. C. Females are active lovers. 14. Online travel magazine for women who love to travel. http://www.utrec.com/female.htm. Image and metaphor of women in tourism promotion follow the same hackneyed stereotype of traditional role, the spouse, the patient lover and the inactive unnamed heroine. There are only certain timid efforts of presenting another kind of woman, the new woman that takes an active part in her love and sexual relationships, as in the last example. 2.2.3 Destination and resorts in the tourist gaze. Love and romance reference to destination in the tourist industry are very frequent. Indeed, most of the sexual romance and sexual imagery that appears in the corpus refer to the destination and not to female or male reference. A. Destinations acid for love. 15. The glorious Mogul courtier and palace conjure up dreams of the mysterious wonders of the past, a golden age of tragedy and love. The harem of beautiful wives enclosed in the women's quarters, of powerful emperors, of magical prophecy and potent charm. http://india-tourisme.de/english/norse/. Says at Niagara Falls, enveloped by the mist. Échouin with the enthusiasm and wonder of new love. These inspiring falls have been a favorite destination for newlyweds since the 1800s, when Napoleon's brother Jérôme Bonaparte reputedly spent his honeymoon there. The beauty of the water pouring over the 170-foot drop, the mist swirling up to envelop observers, and the surrounding forest and picnic areas make Niagara Falls a wonderful spot for lovers. http://www.tirdage.com/travel/is/place3.html. 17. Opulent beaches, resorts with fabulous facilities and plenty of things to see and do are all bathed in sunshine by day and starlight by night. Love with a Latin flavor surround you. This is a country where you can order up a trio to play your favorite songs around the clock or arrange for a serenade under the balcony. http://www.honeymoons.com/mexico1.html Acapulco. 18. Just 4 miles from San Miguel Lee, one of the most romantic hotels on the island, the President Intercontinental Cozumel. Here the spirit of romance blooms as easily as the tropical flowers that color the grounds. Guest rooms are decorated in cool pastel colors echoing the shades of the tropical fish and coral that lay just beyond the water's edge. In the evening, votive candles turn your room into a real romantic escape. http://in.bazar.licosia.com/display.asp.45. Destinations à objects of love. 19. Like most of its visitors, when Noel Monsieur Carigno set first foot on the island of Boracay 6 years ago, he was mesmerized by its breathtaking beauty. I've never seen an island, a beach and a place more beautiful than Boracay. http://www.turoturo.com/destination/00.htm. 20. Use the clickable map on the left of your screen to navigate around Dumfries et Galloway. Use the menu above this part of the screen to select the type of information you require. Menu choices appear in this space. Naturally you'll love it. http://www.galloway.co.uk/. Destinations à séductrices. 21. A land of deep breath and inspiration, this country, the people and their way of life will capture a part of your heart and most of your spirit and soul forever. It seems to know you'll be back, even before you've arrived. http://www.tripdetail/tripdetail.cfl.tripid=3356. Destinations à virgins. 22. They will also have chance to fill their eyes with the mysterious and virgin landscape of the border areas between China and Lao PDR and Myanmar. http://windows2china.com/yunnan/bana.html. 23. Located on Langkawi's western coastline, the Sheraton Langkawi Beach Resort sits unobtrusively amid 38 acres of unspoiled tropical woodlands overlooking the Andaman Sea. http://linktokansas.com/t-detail.cfm.i=2764. 24. The beautiful unspoiled beach, where the dolphins play, turtles nest on the dune and the pelican soar is just the beginning. http://www.floza.com/interest/beaches/listing.php/location-r-se. A we can see, One of the most salient characteristics of metaphor and image of love in the case of destinations is their personification as objects of love. In these images the tourist, either male or female, transforms her gaze into an hegemonic male filter that grants her object of love the attributes traditionally attached to women. Moreover, certain images employed with female are also found with destinations as seductress or virgins. Thus, in most cases destinations and resorts are seen, described and sold using the traditional imagery of the dominating male and the dominated object of his desire. A promotion is directed to both biological sex. It can be concluded that the senders of the promotional message create a traditional male gaze that refer to the use of linguistic features in a traditional way. 2.3 Visual information. The last variable studied concerns visual use in the brochure and article of the corpus. An exhaustive study of the characteristics, format, meanings and connotation of the photographs are beyond the scope of the paper. Our main interest is to show the relevance and importance of paralinguistic features in the analysis tourism promotion, Confer. Yale 1997/122. Figure 3, Bikini clad icon. Visual cues have been classified in 3 categories, according to gaze imposed by the authors. 1. The male gaze, traditional photographs of beautiful bikini-clad women in lonely sun-bleached beaches, see Figure 3. Photographs of smiling attendants, photographs of female occidentalist native, see Figure 4, etc. This gaze is typical in tourism promotion and, in the linguistic analysis, conform to the hegemonic traditional filter of the male. Regardless of the biological sex of the audience, brochure and travel article continue to present the products advertised through image of women and representation of sexual conquest. These images usually accompany traditional linguistic description of destinations as objects of love. Sometimes these are images of native women who wait for the traveler or tourist at the destination. Figure 4 represents a native woman with occidentalist traits, something that can be a sign of the occidental bias of the male gaze. Figure 4, Occidentalist image of woman. When photographs of men are shown in this particular gaze, they usually represent male native, old, exotic and representative of tradition and cultural value. Figure 5. These images markedly contrast to the beautiful, exuberant native women of the previous examples. Figure 3 and 4. Figure 5, Native men. 2. The neutral gaze, photographs of group of tourists of lonely and unspoiled nature without human beings, Figure 5. In this case, the gaze is neutral and is focused on nature, sun and fun, and not on the imagery of love. Figure 6, Image of nature deprived of human beings. 3. The female gaze, this could be considered as a new gaze in tourism, a marked point of view not to be considered as a norm. We can only find this type of gaze in brochure or travel article previously defined as feminine or for women. Thus, the female gaze cannot represent a collective approach as the hegemonic male does. We can assume that this gaze has appeared as a marketing strategy of presenting products and destinations in a way that appeal directly to a female audience in order to get this profitable market share. It has not been easy to find images that correspond to this gaze. The following example is a postcard that advertises Costa Blanca in Spain. Figure 6. It must be noted that further research needs to be carried in order to distinguish the female gaze previously defined from a possible male gaze. Figure 7, The female gaze. Conclusion. To summarize and conclude, this study presents evidence that there is still a strong trend in tourism promotion towards the presentation of destinations and resorts through the hackneyed and hegemonic imagery of the male gaze, even in contexts where the audience is allegedly neutral, both female and male. By examining promotional writings where the imagery of love and romance was predominant, we have found that the male hegemonic presentation and design of discourse influence the usage of love imagery. Typical representation of women as wives, virgins and objects of love are employed, not only for the description of women but also for tourist destinations. As a result, there is personification of the tourist experience as a potential love conquest by the tourist. This hegemonic gaze is characterized at the lexical level by scarce reference to male subjects. The purpose of promotional text is enhanced in this way, as they focus their main attention not on the conqueror or lover, but on the object of love, the woman, or rather its personified construct, the destination. This is reinforced on the textual level, where the metaphor and imagery employed highlight the dominant position of the male, as are mainly represented as lovers or conquerors. Female, on the other hand, continue to be shown as the objects of love and consequently the objects of the gaze of the tourist, or alternatively, as the silent suffering heroine of anecdote, stories and legends that color the description of a certain destination. Finally, the visual cues employed in the brochure, especially photographs, also present a similar picture. Female are typically portrayed as the objects of the tourist gaze in sensual postures that imply a transference of femininity from the person to the destination. These representations confirm again that the male gaze also influence the design of paralinguistic features of neutral contexts. The study has also shown the existence of other gazes that are shy of presenting new reality. These neutral, homosexual or female gaze support alternative representation of destination by means of new metaphor, females are active lovers and new image, men are objects of love. However, the data gathered is not conclusive. The appearance of these gaze could be due to the necessity of the tourism industry to appeal and have access to new segments of the market, showing new trends in tourism promotion. Further research is needed on this topic, especially in relation with studies that compare different types of representation of gender in the field of advertising. Quoted text. A beach bungalow on Siesta Key. http://www.beachbungalowsiesta.com. Broward County. http://interest/beaches/listing.php/location=-se. Businesses urged to go green. http://www.travelscotland.co.uk/news/news-de0120.htm. Caribbean Music and Carnival. http://www.wsd-article-art-76.html. Destination Positioning Blueprint for Japan. Experienced Female Traveler. http://www.qttc.com.au/blueprint/japan/segment2.htm. Eldorado State Park. http://linktokansas.com/lit-ldetail.cfm.i=2764. Ethnic Folklore Tour along the Lankan Mekong River. http://windows2china.com/yunnan/bana.html. Female Travel Tips. http://www.utrec.com/female.htm. Hotel for Women. http://www.awrodentravel.com/hotelsresorts/hotel.htm. Live the Beach 4. http://coachina.about.com/library/weekly/11099.html. Mauritius. En Emerald Drop in the Indian Ocean. http://in.in-bazar.licosia.com/travel/display.asp.45. Mexico. http://www.honeymoons.com/mexicol.html Acapulco. Népal. http://www.tripdetail/tripdetail.cfl.au-tripid=3356. Niger. http://www.dreamweavertravel.net/nigerarticle.htm. North India Land of Romance. http://india-tourisme.de/english/north/. Romantic Travel. http://www.doctorg.com/romantic-travel.htm. Sensual Spa. http://www.travellady.com/issue56/spa.htm. The Natural Way to Experience Scotland. http://www.galloway.co.uk/. The Sound of Music Tour, Salzburg. http://www.travel-intelligence.net/article-art-717.html. Top 10 Place to Kiss. http://www.tirdage.com/travel-kiss/place3.html. Photographs. Figure 3, front-page section from Viarar Magazine. Figure 4, Trade Winds, Worldwide Holidays Brochure, Lancashire, United Kingdom, 1997. Figure 5a, Trade Winds, Worldwide Holidays Brochure, Lancashire, United Kingdom. Figure 5b, National Express Bargain Break Brochure, United Kingdom. Figure 6, Romantic Travel, http://www.doctorg.com/romantic-travel.htm. Figure 7 Postcard, Alicante, Spain 2002. 2. The Seduction of the South Sea. Gender in Late XVIIth Century French Travelogue on the Pacific. Marja van Tilburg. Marja van Tilburg enseigne l'histoire à la Rijksuniversiteit de Groningen, aux Pays-Bas. Membre du Centre d'études genre de la Faculté des Lettres depuis 1995. Sa thèse, Oeordachete? Sexualiteit en partnerkeus in de Nederlandse literatuur 1780 à 1890. Amsterdam 1998, porte sur la sexualité et les genres dans les livres édifiants néerlandais. Elle participe actuellement à une recherche dans une perspective genrée sur la réception des cultures du Pacifique au XVIIIe siècle en Europe. m.w.van.tilburg@let.rug.nl. L'érotisme a joué un rôle important dans les discours sur Tahiti depuis sa découverte. Cependant, la question du genre reste à ce propos inexplorée. L'attirance exercée par les Tahitiennes est soulignée par tous les voyageurs français du Pacifique Sud dont les textes décrivent les mœurs. Les auteurs se heurtent à des pratiques sexuelles atypiques, par rapport aux valeurs dominantes dans les autres cultures connues. Commerson et Bougainville interprètent leurs coutumes par rapport au cadre européen traditionnel. Ils ne sauraient concevoir les femmes comme indépendantes. Le discours de ces deux hommes cache une commune incapacité à sortir du schéma occidental de pensée, d'où leur recours à des icônes de féminité, les grâces, les nymphes, les géorgiennes, pour asseoir leur comparaison. De fait, le portrait enchanteur qu'ils brossent de Tahiti dissimule une incompréhension foncière des valeurs originales sur lesquelles repose cette société. Introduction. Eroticism has loomed very large in the discourse on the South Pacific since the discovery of Tahiti in the late 18th century. Sensual report of the island appeared in the travelogue of the first European explorers. Here, life was easy because of the fertility of the soil and the abundance of fish in the sea. The people were friendly and hospitable, sharing all pleasures of life with their unexpected European visitors. Although the idyllic aspect of this report was always discerned, the representation of Tahiti has never engendered much research. Thus far, literary critics and historians have focused upon the description of the island as a sexual paradise. Following the example of sex orientalism, they have shown how this is represented as the heterosexual other of the European traveler, see Edmond 1997/69. They have given the sensuality of the women a lot of attention, since this quality is an important part of the image of the island. In doing so, they have merely mentioned the women as an aspect of Tahiti, leaving the representation of gender in the travelogue of the European explorers en unexplored terrain. Moreover, the account of the first explorers vary en analysis of the representation of the women of the South Sea Islands. Their description of Tahitian culture are very distinct from those of Tahitian women. Indigenous sexual practices are described as the opposite of Christian sexual morality, while native women are depicted as suiting European taste. As a consequence, the paragraph on sexual practices are dominated by contrast to European sexual more, whereas those on women show many analogy to European ideas of femininity. Obviously, two distinct types of othering can be discerned. In the description of tribal customs, the European born and rest explorer comes to the fore, whereas in the depiction of women a distinctly male gaze can be detected. To bring the specificity of the representation of gender in the travelogue to the fore, a systematic comparison will be made of the description of Tahitian customs and those of Tahitian women. By comparing the passage on indigenous practices with those on women, difference in the use of stylistic devices may become evident. This comparison may reveal if reference to the erotic dominate, every depiction of Tahitian women. Or else, if the erotic imagery is reserved for specific instance. From this we may distill why reference to the erotic are used. In this way, we may learn why the European explorers have created the image of the sensuous beauty of the South Sea. Of all the travelogue about the Pacific from the late 18th century, those in French are the most eloquent and outspoken on all matters sexual. Therefore, I have chosen to study.
Nous espérons que vous avez apprécié cet aperçu. Pour continuer à écouter ce livre audio sur Google Play Livres, utilisez le lien dans la description de la vidéo.